And the last few days, they have been very, very full, as everybody here will say. But this is not hard. If you look at what Mr. Mufara is sharing with us, what he's saying, it's really not difficult to understand where we are and where we're going. And I want to start with a little statement and then kind of explain it a little bit. Being average and ordinary. And when people hear that statement, everybody goes, well, no, I don't want to be average and ordinary. I want to be extraordinary. And when you look at large businesses and large governments, they all start that way. They want to be extraordinary. And as they move forward and you get more and more people involved, more and more bureaucracy involved, all of a sudden things become diluted. And the original vision that they started with, all of a sudden, it's not quite the same as it was when it first started. And that's when things become average and ordinary. And if you don't want to be average and ordinary, you have to be with individuals that are extraordinary. And when we think about Onpassive and the bureaucracy that has been built around Onpassive, I think that's what's happened with Onpassive. The vision of Ash Mufara, it started to get a little bit diluted and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And Mr. Mufara, do you think he is average and ordinary? Do you think he is normal? And the answer to that is no way. He will never go there. And because he saw these little changes happening within Onpassive, he had to come in and reboot. Onpassive will always be the vision of Ash Mufara. That is not going to change. It has not changed today, and it will never change. Onpassive moving forward is going to be exactly what Mr. Mufara had in the beginning, his vision of what he wanted to do, not only on the company side, but for people involved within Onpassive. That has not changed. Again, this is not hard. Onpassive has not changed. And then we start to think about, well, what does he need to do in order to get back on track? He's already done it. Onpassive is already on track. Again, nothing has changed. And this is the really important part of what I'm talking about. The timetable has not changed. When we start to talk about the revenue of Onpassive, Onpassive is a business initially. It's more than that, much more than that. But the revenue has to start coming in. Mr. Mufara understands that. He's been dealing with this way longer than we even imagined. And the revenue will start coming in very, very quickly. Again, it has not changed. Mr. Mufara understands that product has to go out to the world population. People have to start buying Okonek, and revenue has to start coming in. That is going to happen very, very quickly. But when you start thinking about being average and ordinary, you have to be with people, and you don't want to be there. You have to be with people that are extraordinary, i.e. this panel, i.e. Mr. Mufara, way, way above normal by any standards. We are there. We are there. Again, this is not hard. And when you think about Onpassive, don't get ahead of yourself. Things are going to be happening very, very quickly. We don't have to wait months or years for Mr. Mufara to do what he needs to do because he's already been doing it. And that's the one thing that is so unique about Mr. Mufara. His foresight is so much bigger than yours and I's. He understood what was happening probably months ago, and he understood what he was going to have to do, and it's done. It is a done deal. So when you start looking at Onpassive, when you start looking at yourself, when you start thinking about being average and ordinary, it's not where you want to be. You are in the right place right now. And Onpassive, they are in line, they are on time, and the timing is now. It's not in years, guys. This is happening right now. You don't have to worry about things starting to flow. They are going to flow. Nobody here is average and ordinary. And as we move forward, the world is going to change. You're going to change, and everything is going to be extraordinary. I'll leave it there because I've got a lot to say, but this is a big panel. Just a quick, we're there. Things are happening. You don't need to worry about what's been happening in the last few days, even though they've been very, very full. Things are good, and Onpassive, they're on the move, guys. They are absolutely on the move. And Mr. Mufara will never be average or ordinary. He will never be normal. He will be that crazy professor that we have, and we don't want it any other way.